traders, welcome to the daily webinar. So let's start. That is for this week. Yesterday was pretty slow, and let's go. Dollar index is in a correction. We were anticipating this since last week. We've got a sharp move. We started to correct up, and we we're going to expect one sharp move down. Now that we've broken the top, this flat should be more of a running flat before we get the next impulse up. So there's a sell setup forming there. This could be a sell, just one drop, and then expect upside right after that. Can it continue to go lower? It's hardly possible because this is pretty sharp. So I'm looking at this as more of a flat pattern rather than a continuation to the downside. But you will be in the sell, so we'll see where that goes. Silver did come down. We were expecting a flat in here as a regular or running flat. It broke the low, so we were expecting that to be a running flat. And it started to go above the top. So now two things we look for. It is either now a expanding flat, or this is the end and we're starting that move. Now it's still pretty hard to say, well, this is the end. We can't confirm that because there was not like a sharp drop. I do have a flat in here. And if you take it with this piece, we've got another flat there. So even if you look at this as the correction, which doesn't fit in properly, you can always say, well, that has a big flat there. So that cannot, and it's hardly the end of the structure. The structures normally end with a very sharp move, right? So I still believe there's a high probability that this comes back, retest the low, then go back up. So there's a good chance that we break this top, retest this low, and then go back up. Now we'll see whether that happens or whether this just continues to go up. From now, every buy setup we get, we take. Every sell setup we get, we take. So the setups have got to form. There was a setup this morning that is gone. This is a running flat, so breaking the top. Either they make another flag and we buy, or it reverses that, drop, make a flag and we sell. So now those are the two because the trade is gone. We were watching it yesterday, but yesterday was slow and we weren't on the trading room after the morning session. And it's kind of making a running flat here to go. So once they break the top there, we watch for either the continuation, which is a flag, or a reversal here, make a flag, we sell. Same for gold. Same pattern, same everything, right? This also has a big correction. This one is pretty clear. You can't put this any other way, but this is the top. So there's a big correction there. And there's still that probability for an expanding flat, right? That still exists. Let's say for whatever reason, this is the end of the structure. Let's take this off. Let's say for whatever reason, that is the end of this move. It just has a big flat in the middle there, and this is going to go back up. Any flag we buy, which means this would have been a buy here with any flag. Stops, make a flag, we buy. Pull back, make a flag, we sell. Both sides are open because both sides are possible right now. So for the downside, it has to first drop, it has to make a flag, and then we sell. So it has to drop, make a flag, and then we sell, right? If you get a flag here, you can buy. Euro is going back up to complete this flat. I think this would be more of a running flat because we broke the low. So we can put something like this, which means we're looking for a buy setup. At least one more impulse up, and then the downside. We'll look at this as a possible running flat. Now, this could also be like the silver and gold, make it expanding flat. Or this is the end of the structure in terms of the down move, right? So the buy is an absolute thing. We should take it because this move down was pretty sharp, right? So buy setups are okay. I think we either completed the flat here or we're making a bigger one. So the buy should be above the top. Two ways you can buy if you're a very conservative trader, put an entry over there or wait for a setup. If you're aggressive, you can take this one, but this could do this, come back here and then go. In terms of pattern, that possibility exists. So if you're taking an aggressive move, you have to be able to manage it with proper risk to reward with a stop under the low. So if you're going for the conservative one, I don't think they'll tag that up. They'll just go here and come back and then go break the top. By then we'll have a new entry. If that happens, we'll have a new entry point. Well, this is pretty much gone. There was a small correction here. Right? Yesterday, we had the entry order above this top. But if you're taking that entry order, you probably would have closed it because this didn't go. So the new entry order should be here. It makes another flag, we can buy. It should probably go now, there shouldn't be more flag because there's still more to go, right? And then we look at this as a running flat for downside. So after that, come there, we'll look for downside. So which means there's about a one or two more small trades. I hope this push way to the top and then downside. Aussie. Aussie, on the other hand, can go much higher. Right? You can expect Aussie to go much higher. I don't think this is actually necessarily making a small flat. See, this move down was sharp. And that move down was pretty sharp. So not necessarily Aussie is actually trying to make, this is the B part of Aussie. So it'll be coming back for a move like this with all the corrections, in it as well. If you look at it like this, this is the one we're looking for, right? Something like that. So take the flags as they go, but move the stops because at some point, so higher we'll start getting deeper corrections. But I think this is a good one. If you manage to get this trade this morning, that went. If not, wait for another flag, go for it. I still think we could get another pullback. This was pretty sharp. We got more of a correction in here. So either we look at this as a small running flat or we get a pullback here and make a bigger running flat. And then go. So if you're in this trade, just put it to break even. It either will continue to go or it will pull back, make a bigger running flat and go, because this running flat is either too small, right? Or, maybe that's all and we go. So all you have to do is put the break even. They already have a consolidation here. It should continue to go, not come back. If it come back, we look for the bigger running flat and then upside. If they make flags, you can buy. Same here. So this one, we actually put this on for yesterday, that this is a possible one, because no matter what, this will just consolidate and go. I think we have a running flat in there and it took off. So where this is expected to go, pretty much break this top and then turn, right? Because we could look at this as a flat. Come back here, or they just continue to go and this was a deep pullback. So is there more upside in that one? Let's see. Yep, I think there's a lot more upside. Right, because I don't think that is all the correction. We've been looking at this differently. So we're still in this whole big corrective structure, right? So put it in the 1 hour. If you're in the trade, good. If you're not in the trade, every flat or flag they make, you can buy. I think there's a lot more upside there. Swiss, we can go for the sell. It's probably just going to make a deeper correction in this whole piece, on this entire piece. I'm not sure we will go with this as a running flat. We'll see when it drops. It's going to drop, right? Then we'll decide. Okay, this is a flat of its own. So this could be a new flat forming here that is bigger than that small one. But let it drop and then we'll take a look and see where it goes. So this is a sell setup, at least one more impulse down. They can correct here more. Right? You can see more corrections in here and then drop. But if it drops, you want the trade. CAD should be the same thing. I think we could end up with a running flat in here. This one coming here and then going back up. So if you're taking this trade, you don't have to manage it very carefully. It comes here, come back here, and then drop. You'll have to exit the trade and look for a sell from the top. CAD is making a flat too, and that means we're going to go up. So yesterday we did this in details on all time frame in the trading room, and the suggestion is this is going to come here. This would either take off or they will still stay in the consolidation up and down for a while and then go. But we're making a flat here for upside. So once it comes to this low, we look for the buy. Right now it's a sell setup. That will drop to the low, and then we're looking for a buy. So I think you can take this sell. It might drop, it might make a running flat, it doesn't matter. Either way, you can manage a trade. And don't be taken out on the pullback. Yen, some more downside I think is possible. So we're going to look at yen two ways. We're in the B wave, and it's either this is the end of the B wave and this thing drop, or this is still part of the B wave and they only come, the B wave continues to go, they just come something like this and go back up, right? Well, I'm assuming that they can always get back to about the trend line and then go back up, because we do have a running flat in the 1 hour. We have a running flat there, and that should come down some more. It might come slow, it might go fast. So I think this will go down somewhere. We'll just wait and see. Even if it goes back up to make a bigger correction here, just keep your stuff above here. for now. Right? If you took the trade yesterday, you could put it to break even if you want. We're not supposed to retest that top. We're supposed to drop. If they retest the top, that's a bigger correction. So I'm in the trade from yesterday. We can put that to break even. If you're going to put a trade today, if you didn't take it yesterday, you can put an entry under the low. So if it drops now, that's how we trade the running flat, right? Put the entry under the low, put it above the top, and wait for it to drop. Euro yen. Okay, so that's not the breakout. This did break out, but it didn't go. I guess we're making a bigger consolidation then. Take that off and take this off. We had a sharp move up here. We've got to pull back. We got another sharp move. Didn't break the top. Can we look at that as some kind of a contracting flat for downside? Or are we making just a bigger correction in here for upside? If we're making a bigger correction there, then we'll have to come here, go back up there, make this flat first, come down back and then go. That would complete the pattern. So I think we just stay away from it and wait. If they make a flag here, we'll consider a sell. If it makes a flag here, we can consider a sell. So go on the 1 hour, and if it makes a flag, go for the sell. If it's going for a buy, you'll have to wait for this to happen. Sharp move, wait for a flag, take it only to break this top. Because after that, this becomes a flat and we come back down. So the upside is limited. The downside, they could probably go retest the low. If we look at that as a possible contracting flat, right? Like 1, 2, 3. So you get a flag, we sell. I think it's worth it. Pound yen. Okay, this one is not going up to. Looks like we're making a bigger consolidation here, most likely. Upwards, but consolidation. So this would likely go up, pull back, get a flat, go back up, then come back down here and then go. So on the 4 hour, let's say. Yep. Just big consolidation, not going anywhere. So there might be buy setup short term back to this level. And I'm pretty sure it looks like a big consolidation for upside. Not the impulse starting for the downside. In terms of buying, if you want to buy this, it's for a running flat. Right, because that is inside of this move. So this goes, pull back here, then go. That's the trade how you'd expect it for a running flat. Aussie yen. Same here, we're expecting these to probably go back up. I think this is sharp, so you probably get a big flat here and maybe then one more upside, right? Making this here, making some kind of consolidation here, pull back here and then go back up. Let's see where it's in the 1 hour. Also running flat possibility. Because this is sharp. See? This is the big correction. This you can't buy this anymore. I have to let this finish and come back here and then we look for a buy. I don't know if we get the sell in that, but after that we can look for the buy. That would be a big flat in this one. So when it comes, when you go back there, you're probably still coming. We're just going sideways basically. So you have to take very small trade. This one is gone already. New Zealand yen. This was the buy, but that would have been a break-even trade because it pulled back pretty deep. I don't see the clear buy setup in this one. And we're back at the top. So no buy, no sell. Stay away from this. We're back at the top here. And this doesn't look like the impulse going up. So there's a good chance we're going to make a flat here, right? There's a very good chance that this makes a flat here before it goes, which is this piece comes back here and then go, making a flat. So even if it breaks the top, you can anticipate that it might be a running flat before they go. So what we can do is take this off. Let's take this one off. It's useless already. What if they go higher for the running flat? Then you would have to wait for this to make a flag here before you buy it. So you either have to get a flag here when they break and buy, or watch it come back here and then buy. Can we sell it on the way down? I think we will be able to do that. We can actually, if it turns from that point, we can look for the sell. Swiss yen. Also consolidating, and same thing, this is coming back deep. It is the corrective part in it. It's coming back pretty deep. Go back up there, come back here, and then go there. You'll get a big flat. And then you get a big flat for the sell. So we're just consolidating. This should go back up. It's going to crawl along, but go back up. Not the best buy. Okay, this would be the B part of within this move. Okay, then I think same here. They didn't break yesterday, so we can either expect this to make a running flat. This is pretty sharp. Take that off. This one is pretty sharp for running flat, so I wouldn't put that in a running flat. We could probably be making a running flat here now. That could be a correction of its own. And we're making a running flat here now with this piece going up like this, coming back here, giving you a running flat here. Or put all of that together in for a running flat and then go. That would make better sense. So there might be a very short buy here, but that is not going to take off. You have to keep a bigger stop, right? This would probably just break this stop and then come back. So a buy setup is there. It's a short trade. And it's going to be making a running flat in the future, right? So one spike up and then pull back. If you can get out in that one spike, that'd be good. EuroCAD. EuroCAD is coming lower. What's the big picture in this? We're still in this big consolidation. I think we'll break the low. So we can make an assumption that this was all. There was that piece. This is coming down. It's going to break the low. Take this off. You're getting a small flag, but I think it's useless to try to sell it. Right? It's not going to go. Just break the low, and then from there, we'll see what happens. I'd let it break the low. That was a big down move. We have a lot of divergence, so let it just break the low, and then we'll see if they turn. You can try to sell it, but it doesn't look like it's going to go very far. We have a lot of divergence here. So if you get a 1 hour flag and you take the trade, once the low is broken, you have to be very careful. You do have it similar to what a CAD dollar has. Small one here. That could be a sell that might drop break the low. Euros. Okay, this did break out. It didn't go anywhere. Just break the top. Remember, we'll have to be careful because this was the top and that's a running flat. And it did turn. So we're in the big picture. We're going down. That is expected. We're making this one down here now, I think. Depending on how you look at all these corrections in here. So any correction or flag we get would be sell. I think we had a flag already. That's a strange one. This piece is a bit strange because we never got the next sharp impulse up. Right, we had this. We had this up. And we had a lot of move like this, but we never got that one more up there. So somewhere in here, we'll have to look for a contracting flat probably. Wait for a flag sell. If we get a flag or a correction here, it would be a sell. Better if you get a correction, not a flag, because this didn't correct properly. So if you get a correction like this, that would be a good sell. If you get a small flag, take the trade, take profit off. Because this would eventually correct. It doesn't have to correct here. It's a big move down, right? We're trying to get back to the bottom here. We still will probably have one more sharp one up, because this would be this piece probably coming down. And then one more sharp wave, and then the whole flat is completed. It's downside, so we sell. If it's already completed, any sell is a good one. But I don't think it's completed. So we can go for the sells. Euro New Zealand, pretty much the same structure, same thing. This didn't go higher, so they're coming down. This could totally be downside because we've got 1, 2, 3. This could totally go down, let's see. Again, this has a sharp move as the correction with nothing to with it. Right? This was a sharp move for the correction. I think we'll have to have a sharp move up to come to the thing, right? So if you take the sell, put that in the profit. If you're in the sell, put that in the profit immediately because there's a good chance you're going to get one of the sharp move up. At any time, we could get that to complete the big running flat and then downside. Right? Because this has corrections here and corrections here. But if for any reason that is all the correction, any flag now is a sell, right? There was already sell on this flag if you wanted, but it's gone. So wait for flags or correction here and we sell. If they reverse, go back to the top, we'll definitely sell it. If we see it as a running flag, that'll definitely be a sell. So any flag here now becomes a sell. Euro Swiss. I think we can go down some more. So this was the sell setup at the stop there. If anybody took it, I think that was not yesterday, that was on Friday. So we'd look for sell setups here now. The stop is the same thing because this is a bigger correction. We'll break the low. So remember when it was going up, we were saying two things could happen. It either make a flat here and break out, or it makes a flag and drop. I think we're dropping. We're getting a new low within this structure. So there is a sell setup to this level. Look for that trade, and then we'll start to look for the upside. Once we get that, we'll start to look for the upside from this point. So there's a sell setup there. Euro pound. Go back to the 1 hour. Well, it didn't go as high as we expected to go. Remember, this was going up. We were like, we wanted to go that level and then come, but they did break out. So if you look at it this way, it's still a 1, 2, 3. They're coming down. Okay, break the low and then go. We'll just change this like that, put it like that. Okay. So I expect one more low here, somewhere here, and then the upside, which is in line with what the Euro Swiss is doing. See, on the big picture. Come down here and then go. Let's see Euro New Zealand. I still think we have bigger downside here before we go. So this has to come down quite a lot here before it goes back up. And Euro Oz, yep, Euro Oz doesn't have to go quite a lot. It just needs to come to about here and go back there before you go down to complete this pattern. So some of them do have that small move, small correction. So let's go. Euro pound, we saw a little downside. You can trade it down. Yep, if you get a flag, you can take a trade to the downside. So if we get a flag or a correction here, we go for one more sell, break this low, take profit. Let it go a little lower and then take profit. Pound New Zealand. It's going down, but it looks like we might get a running flat too, because I don't think that is pretty sharp for the, it could fit for the correction. There's a lot of corrections in it, but it's sharper than this one. So if you're selling these sharp moves, you want to, at the bottom, you want to take profit because there's a good chance we could go back up here and then drop. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to do that. So if we get a flag here, you sell, right? If we get a flag, this could be all the correction and we totally drop. So go back here. If you get a flag here, sell. So this was a sell. This was a sell. If you get a flag here, we sell it. They shouldn't make a deeper correction because any deep correction would probably be a reversal. Pause. Okay. So we'd have to put this on like this, most likely. Take this off, let's see. It's in it. So mostly like this. That's a deep correction. And it's definitely not the impulse to the downside. So there is a possibility that you probably see one more here and then we start the downside. Right? There's a good possibility for that. Look at the daily. Yeah, you could go break that up and then the downside because it's not coming down from as an impulse from that point, right? We wouldn't take this as an impulse coming down. Right? Let's assume that was the impulse. This was too sharp for the correction. This is not very impulsive. So I think look for one more up. We can expect one more up, break the top, and then start looking for the sell. If this is going to become the downside, let it break all the slope before we sell it. Because this is not, this is very corrective. So one more up is very likely there. Pound. Okay, we would like this to go down a little more, break the low, and then go back up. Right? You know, we really don't want, you don't want this to go up from here because this would be a headache trying to trade going up from here. How do we look at the whole pattern? Right, but if it breaks the low, if this drop and break the low and then go back up, that would be a good trade. That would make sense. So take this off. That was a small trade. I think we're making a bigger flat here. Go on the 1 hour. That's just becoming a bigger flat, a running flat. I think that could be clear. Looking at this, take this off. Because we're likely going to repeat this piece. And then downside. So this piece might have more corrections in it. See, this had a perfect flat here. So I think this would have more corrections here. Go up there and then drop. That's likely what we're going to see. All right, so let's wait and see if we have that. We don't have a buy or sell set up in it. Pound Swiss. Okay, we broke the low. What's the bigger picture? Should come down more, right? I think we're expecting more downside. It's in the 1 hour what it looks like. What are the chances for a bigger flat here? I can make an argument for that. 1, 2, 3. None of these are very sharp or very corrective. I mean, they're not very sharp, none of them. Because I don't see this as the start of an up move from this point. Right. Doesn't make it, unless we think this is an impulse correction, they're all kind of a big flat then, right? So I still think downside. For the buy here, if you want to buy this, or if you know, I'll probably wait for them to break this up and start making flags. Reverse the last impulse if that's the case. If not, we'll look at it as a bigger running flat with the possibility of this start dropping anytime. Take this out. Anytime we see an impulse and a flag, we'll sell it to the downside. Upside, any little flag you can take, but I'll probably wait for them to break this first. Reverse the last impulse, correct, and then go. Aussie cat. Okay, we broke the low here, so this is upside. Right, we wanted it to break the low, this to drop, break the low, and go back. Well, they did that. So now it's upside. Right, broke the look for buy setups. Not necessarily this. This is too early. A running flat. So this would go upside for a running flat first. One more down, and then we'd look for the big upside. One more down there, because this is not the final impulse. Again, this is not an impulse. This is by no means. So this probably come here, we get a running flat, a running or an expanding flat, depending on how far it goes, and then downside. So it doesn't have to break the top. It could come here and then downside, right? Because we broke the low. There might be a trade to the upside. Yeah, if you get a ticket. So if you get a pattern that gives you, I don't know, it's this running flat is gone, wait for a flag, buy, upside one more, and then go. They make flags. I think they'll make a lot of flags. And we can go for the top. Because this would be a running flat and then one more down. Aussie, New Zealand. Still going down, but very corrective, right? So there'll probably be an impulse to the upside. You can put this one here if you want to still go for the buy. The sell is, I don't know. Look how long it takes. It takes a long time, useless. Aussie Swiss. Okay, this came back to the top without breaking the low. So let's see. Unless we look at it as a bigger flat, right? Could be just a bigger flat here. Take this off. Put it like this. Just a bigger flat forming here for one more downside. Come back a little like this. One more down. And then the upside. Because I don't think this is how the upside will start like this and then pull back this deep and then go there and take off. This likely will just get a flat, one more down, and then the upside. I think we have that on the Aussie cat as well, right? Make a flat, one more down, and then probably the upside. And let's see. Aussie yen we'll check also. I think we checked that already, should have similar structures. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, this didn't break down, this went out. So let's see, is this the start of the upside? Was this just a contracting flat? Interesting, let's wait and see. Okay, I thought we'll make one more down. So if we're breaking out, if this is the contracting flat there, wait for a flag and buy. There was a flag here, but I probably wouldn't have bought this here because we're at the top of the trend line, right? I wouldn't probably buy this here. So let's assume that, okay, this is a contracting flat. Now you just wait for a flag and you buy, because that means you're going to be coming out of this structure totally, right? You're totally coming out of that structure. So any flag now becomes a buy setup. Any 1 hour flag will be a good buy setup. Contracting flat, not a good idea, but that happens sometimes. So any flag now we get outside of the structure, we're totally in the buy for it. New Zealand CAD, that was a buy setup yesterday. It actually went, let's see where we are from the 4 hour. It still looks corrective. Right, it doesn't look like the start of the big impulse to the upside. So if you're going to buy this buy is gone already. So if you want to buy, you have to wait for a flag above the top. A flag or a pullback, and then we go for the buy again. If it's going to drop, which means I think it's possible, I could see this as a possible flag. When we break that up, it drops, make a flag, we'll go back to this level and then break down. But if it makes a flag for a buy, we can take it as well. Okay, you're getting a flat here as expected. Look for the buy. Probably one more sell. Break this low and then look for the buy. It can be a more complex pattern than that, but I'm not expecting too complex patterns here. A simple flat like that would be perfect. That would be the biggest correction, right? So you might get a little more down here and then upside, because this would be a perfect flat. This is interesting. This one has a big move to the upside. So I think we should keep our eyes on it. It's very similar to the CAD dollar in terms of the big move. And I think this is a running flat. So this could be the turning point. It might be interesting to trade now, right? We've got an impulse, we've got a correction, we've got an impulse, and we're turning with a flat at the top there. See, we're getting a flag there. Worst case scenario is they'll make one sharp move up and then make a new low, right? The worst case scenario that could happen with this is that this flat makes a one sharp move up there and then come back. That's a good trade, even if it does that, right? But it could also be the start of the upside. So you get a 1 hour correction here. Perfect, go for it. Ignore the sell. Let it break the low first. And then start looking for the running for the upside. It's a regular flat. Can it be a contracting flat? Well, you can only buy above the top if it's going to be contracted. But if it's a regular flat, it would make one more drop and then upside. Stay away from this one. It's going up back to the top, but it's very slow. Okay, so this did break out, and we can probably look at this now as a correction for downside, right? So we wanted it to break that top. They broke the top. We're still in the downtrend, for that matter of fact. So there's a good chance that this here now becomes a sell setup. Watch for your sell setup there. Watch for the sell for the downside. Let's see. US oil. We looked at all the oils. On the daily, they have correct divergence, 4 hour divergence, 1 hour, not so much divergence on all of them. But you can see, right, there's a lot of divergence depending on where you start this move up. In this little piece, I don't think we have divergence in here. This might be the one that gives divergence. We're at the top. And structurally, this thing has to do two things. It has to make a big correction and continue to the upside, or it could totally drop, retest the low. So from this point, every buy you take, if you take a buy, and I showed this morning where this buy would have been here if anybody was taking it, take off your profit. Wait for another flag, put an entry, take your profit. So every flag you take, don't expect it to go very far. It makes an impulse, take off the profit. It starts to consolidate, makes another flag here. It makes another flag here and you buy again. It does that, take off the profit. Because at any point they could do this. And if they do that and make a flag, we're all selling. The sell is a must because the sell is big. The buy, well, you can take every flag and then take every impulse off, take the profit. You can all same thing. Natural gas. The only question we have is whether this correction is over. Might not be. So if this starts to come down and give you a flag, you can sell it back one more, and then we'll look for the buy. If it consolidates here, go for the buy. And by consolidation, I mean something like this or something like this, not just two candles. Right, then you go for the buy. If it starts to drop, we'll retest these lows and then upside. This is a whole big flat, so that's likely telling us upside. You're started. Wait for flag buys, buy some more. I think we might have completed this correction at this point here. Looks very much like we've completed it. So if we get any flag here, we can buy. We do have some divergence, but they could still go a lot more with the divergence before it comes down. Next, stay away from it. We'll have to wait for this to finish. It's incomplete and I have no idea what it is yet, so we'll have to wait and see. S&P 500, we're getting a flat for upside, a running flat for upside. So you're making a running flat here, nice one. Come back to this level, you get this, and you could get one more up. Could that be the start of the downside? I don't think so yet, because this is very corrective. So when it drops to this level, they will either go back up for a buy or make a flag here for a sell. If we think this is the top. I don't think that's the top. I think we're making a flat here for one more up. So let's see. This is a buy. This is definitely showing a buy setup. You have one, you have two, you have three. So this should give you a buy setup. One more impulse up. AU 200. So this is an interesting one. You just want it to go up one more. So it has to go up one more first. Break this top, and then we start to look for the sell. All right, let it go up one more, break the top, then look for the sell. And the 1 hour it's coming down, but it's within the flat, within a flat pattern here. So let it go up, break the top, and then we start to look for the sell. Nifty. Nifty is a big consolidation going on here now. So there's a chance we might retest this low at some point when the correction is finished, and then go upside because we broke the top here, see? And that's not the start of the downside. So I don't think this is going to take off, but they could do that, come back here, and then go. Right, kind of a running flat pattern. Let's wait and see which one they give us. Tesla. Did we break the top? Okay, they broke the top, so you can come back down. We're still in the big correction, right? This is the first impulse down, so we're still in this correction, which means this piece could, if you get a flag here, go for the sell back to this level. If it goes back up, put an entry above the top to that level. So both are possible right now, right? It could be a running flat by breaking the top, so you can put an entry here. Nothing would go wrong with that entry for the buy. Absolutely nothing. The sell side, wait for a flag. So if it is the top, wait for a flag for the sell. For the buy, you can just put them, if it's a running flat, the next move is to the upside. It's within the correction, right? Just be aware of that. Amazon. Okay, so Amazon is a buy setup. They did come down here. This might be a contracting flat. We can buy Amazon. I think this flat ended here as a running flat. It didn't come this much. So that's a buy. Amazon is in the up move. Look for buy setups. Go for it. This could be a sharp impulse because they had a lot of consolidation, right? That is a huge consolidation. If we're starting that up move, it's going really good. So BA Finance, it's consolidating here. Just wait for it to finish and then look for one more up. Consolidating in this range. And then one more up. Alliance, one more down. Look for the sell setup here. I don't think we can buy to that point. If they drop, we get the sell. And PayPal. PayPal is a buy, but that is within the corrective structure, right? That is within. So there's a buy here. And there's a chance that we start coming back down from that point. Right, so they may or may not break the top, but it will be a running flat if they break the top. That's all. I don't think this correction is completed and we're going. I still think there's more to it. But you have a short-term buy setup there. Bitcoin. Okay, so we're not going up aggressively. Just move that aside slightly. Take this out. We're expecting them to go up aggressively to finish that pattern, but that is not happening. If they go up slowly, it means we'll relook at the corrective structure. And if that goes slowly, we have a very complex corrective structure forming. Right, because take this off, that would be a flat. Take this off. This is a flat, that didn't change. Right, so what you have is 1, 2, 3. If you get another correction here and then you drop again, we still have to get this one up. No, that is not being negated. All it tells you is making more complex pattern. Okay, this could come here, go back up. I could see this possibility, something like that. And then maybe then one more down. And then the sharp move and then go down. It's still a running flat. Right? The sharp move up here and then go. So you can trade within this range. This one right now doesn't have a buy. It might likely come back, retest this low, which is not a big sell either. I don't think we're breaking out now. We're not breaking out anywhere right now. We're consolidating and then probably better to wait for the sell. XRP. Okay, it didn't break down either. So it's more of this flat forming here. You get a running flat here. We didn't break that top. Let's take this off and see what the consolidation could be. You got a sharp pullback, you got a sharp pullback, but we're not breaking the top. So it means we're making a more complex pattern here as well, right? Something like this, probably go back up there, come back and then go. Something like this, and then go and then drop. So all you're doing is making a more complex pattern in here. So probably wait for it to finish, and then we look for the downside. And that would be one, that would be more downside. We wouldn't get the upside as yet. So whenever this is finished, what it's gonna do is drop. Maybe go a little higher and then drop. We'll still get these sharp moves, except for a long drawn out running flat pattern. This one is an easier sell. This is even much more flatter than the rest, right? One second, guys, sorry about that. Yes, this is probably gonna go back up there. We're consolidating in this range and then drop. Same here. They all have that, right? You can see this is probably going to go up a little more, break this top and then downside. So you can look for short-term buy setups. They all have it. Short-term buy setups where this try to go back to the top there and then come down. Make a flat and come down. ETH, same thing. We're not getting the sharp moves up, but we're getting more of a corrective structure. This is upside still, but more like a correction. Dash. Also upside. This could be more like an impulse because this is a big flat here. If they take off, they could go really fast. This might be the better buy. This is coming down. So if you get a sell setup here, you can go for it. And this is mostly a buy. We're almost at the top there. So I can see this trying to break through that top. Give us an impulse there. And then we'll see what happens from that point. So you can go for this one. Okay, this has a 1, 2, 3. Not exactly the way we were expecting it to go. If it starts to come down from here, we'll relook at all the structure. We'll relook at these structures if it starts coming from there, right? We look at them to see whether we're looking at bigger running flats in play. I had a bigger running flat in here, for example. 1, 2, 3, go down, back, come back up, and then go. So if you get sell setups here, we go for it. Either they make a flag, drop, make a flag, you can sell it. The corrections are complex, so you would, as you they develop, we'll see which one is the best, which pattern they're eventually making. LTC. This also looks like short-term upside. This short-term piece might be upside, but then it looks down. This is going to be a flat for downside. And ADA. This one already make the up move. This was the small flat. We already made the up move, but we're not really going up aggressively, right? As expected. So if you get buy setups, you can go for it for one more impulse. But if they keep going that slow, then expect this to drop. Right? If you get a little up move there, expect that to drop. Because it's not very aggressive to the upside, which means it's not very impulsive. So, okay, guys, I think that's it. This video will be on YouTube, so you guys can go watch it back on YouTube and leave your comments, leave your likes, and share it with anybody you know. So I'll stop the recording. For YouTube viewers, I hope they enjoy it and they share it as well.